and welcome to Tata Communications presents ETStudio's Digital Pioneers in association with ETCIO. I'm Shilpa Ratnam and I'll be moderating this panel of very distinguished speakers, and today we have Mr. Ayan De. He's the Head of Technology at HDFC Life. Hello and welcome, sir.
Hi Shilpa, nice to be here.
So happy that you could give us our time today.
Thank you.
And next up, we have Mr. Kamal Goel. He is the head of tech as well, but at Anand Rathi. Hello and welcome, sir.
Hello, Shilpa. Thank you.
Hi. And we have Anurag Mathur. He is the head of BFSI at Tata Communications.
Hello.
Hi Anurag. All right, so in today's discussion, we are going to be talking about the digitization in BFSI. So let me start off with the fact that there has been a paradigm shift in the way how Indians are availing BFSI services. There is an increased expectancy when it comes to customer expectations. You also have the integration of AI in a big manner. You have constantly evolving regulatory changes. Now, digital employment in this infrastructure is very important for any BFSI to thrive in this environment. So, how do you maintain a kind of evolving efficacy when it comes to this?
So great question to start with, Shilpa, to get the entire communication going. Absolutely right. The entire Indian populace is now consuming digital services as never before. And BFSI financial services, even though it's a significantly serious in nature when it comes to consumption, but people have been looking at the BFSI services almost in the same way as if buying a carton of milk on Amazon or booking a ride on Uber. It's the same thought process which is sort of driving customers to even look at the digital applications and the services which are available to them, and they in fact expect those services to respond back in the same manner as if you start watching a movie on Netflix, you go for your coffee break, you come back, and again you want Netflix to start showing you exactly from the same frame. So that's exactly what's happening in the Indian psyche right now. Given that situation, of course, COVID happened a few years back. Unfortunate that it had to happen at that time. But one thing that has catapulted the entire propensity towards consumption of more and more digital services was actually the pandemic. And whatever way you look at it, it might be that because people were staying at home, people were not connected physically to each other, the consumption levels of digital services has gone to a level which India has never seen before. HDFC Life has not been a stranger in this space. We have always been driving a lot of digital initiatives even long before the pandemic happened. And in fact, honestly, we were actually, from a digital infrastructure perspective, we were actually ready when the pandemic happened. Of course, we never expected this to happen, but when it came to that, overnight we realized that our products are conceptual products, if you would call it, right? Selling a life insurance policy is not like a pack of toothpaste where you can simply pick it up and you can evaluate what the product is all about. It is more about a concept. Now, how do you go and sell this concept to a customer without meeting him face to face? And that too, the concept, as we were discussing just a few minutes back, that the concept is something of a financial promise. It is not also something that you are getting today. Now, if a concept has to be sold, a promise has to be sold, typically you always go and impress upon the human psyche. And that is the reason why life insurance forever, it is said that life insurance is the second oldest profession that mankind knows about. And for that specific reason, it has always been sold with a human-to-human interaction. That completely vanished overnight. HDFC Life, and of course the rest of the industry as well, we were actually ready to completely move out this entire operation on a digital world. So HDFC Life, along with the rest of the industry, the insurance industry has been, in fact, ready for these kind of challenges. Not because of maybe a pandemic, which was more of a natural cause, but because of the man-made disruptions which we keep on seeing. So today, when we discuss, who is my next potential competitor, we don't say it's an ICICI or it's an SBI or it's a Kotak.
Okay.
We say it might be an Amazon. Who knows? So we were always ready for this kind of situation, and when the pandemic happened, overnight we had to completely move to a digital world, I would say. And people had to be empowered and enabled with these digital services. And not only the field force, but you also had to ensure that your employees were equally protected. So all the technical infrastructure which was required for making the employees work from home, that was rolled out within a couple of days' time, 48 hours' time, in fact. And that's where we take a lot of pride that we had been at the forefront of these technologies. We had been experimenting with these technologies a lot. And when the final time came, and this, of course, we never expected, but we could actually prove that technology really makes these things work.
So thank you so much for taking us through your digital journey. It's been quite, comprehensive, and thank you so much for being so candid with us. Sir, do let me know.
I think Ayan made my life easy. Adding to what Ayan said, I fully agree with him. From the Indian perspective, the BFSI segment in India is the highest regulated in the world. Particularly broking, into which we are, is more and more regulated. So like Ayan said, that people want services like Amazon. They want a service on the fly. But in broking, it is not like that. There are lots of compliance. So digitization particularly help enabling customer faster way. Earlier, it used to take 3 to 7 days. Let's say you want to avail my services. There are lots of documentation, lots of processes which we have to follow, and we have to upload to the regulators, and then we get approval from the exchanges, and then we can activate your ID, and then only you can avail the services. Due to digitization and COVID kind of situation, now people were claiming 3 hours kind of activation from 3 days to 7 days. And now people are talking about 20 minutes activation, which is practically impossible without digitization.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing your views on that. Anurag, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think I agree to both the panelists here that COVID has one of doing the greatest, what the thinkers say, a great reset for the industry in large. And BFSI is actually undergoing a complete reset from that perspective. And as the consumer have become more intelligent and more aware, the expectations have risen multifold. And that's where we see that what it means for the traditional BFSI industry is to look at the complete overhaul of their today digital estate. So, and also with the fueling this is the fintechs which are coming up with the new innovative products. And that's where we see that the traditional way of doing business will not be so successful now going forward. And that's where Tata Communications comes in and is trying to bring in a sort of a digital fabric where you can really consume some of the services and prioritize and improvise your digital journeys, if I have to say so. So you have to look at all the aspects of your cloud strategy, your security postures, your communication interaction suite, your customer experience. So these are all the areas where, as Tata Communications, we are sort of focusing on in terms of enabling certain BFSI industries. Also, what we are doing is we are also conceptualizing certain very specific products for the BFSI industry. For instance, financial kiosk, because as the people are getting more savvy, we don't want physical interaction, so there should be a kiosk which can offer you a service. Similarly, we are also looking at a exchange community cloud for a broking community. So these are certain newer solutions that we are also looking at with the changing needs and demands of the consumer.
That's very interesting indeed.
One more point I would like to add here. COVID help us, IT or a tech, these digitization project no longer IT projects. Now this is a business project. Business demand those. Earlier we used to run behind the business. You do this, that, and they always treat as an IT project. This is not a case anymore.
It's a business need
It's a business need.
Absolutely,
Absolutely.
sir. So when we talk about BFSI, one of the biggest trends, of course, is the phygital aspect. With over 400 branches at HDFC Life and over 1,200 branches at Anand Rathi, how are you ensuring the modernization of your branches?
So we were just having a chat, I and Anurag, we were discussing that, whatever happens, fortunately or unfortunately, we sell a product. I just spoke about it a few minutes back, that this appeals to the human psyche. and it's also a matter of trust, because you are selling something as a promise to future. Something happens and then the insurance company will pay you something, right, in future. Now just imagine how do you achieve that amount of trust. Now this element of trust can only be built in when you are doing a human to human interaction. Whatever amount of digital overlay you bring in, it will never actually sort of dent this human element of creating that trust. Now, which means that I will have to continue to engage my customers on a man-to-man basis, or maybe a women-to-women basis. But having said that, do I make my life simpler for my customer who walks into my branches? That is where the magic of digital today actually applies. Today, I have branches and regional offices across the country. These cater to my walk-in customers. These cater to my Salesforce folks, feet on street. We are talking about human elements here. But when a customer walks into the branch, is it possible for me, for example, to sort of help him with a Bluetooth beacon, for example, that he must, with this type of a requirement, he must approach that specific desk for getting this particular issue resolved. He need not even go to the inquiry counter and get that point resolved. Can I do that? Can I help him with some self-service kiosks? Can I give him some apps the moment he walks in? Is it possible for me with some amount of technology to actually identify who that is? So if I know the customer, I don't have to take him through the entire rigmarole of prove your identity, prove your name, address, and everything, blah blah blah, all that we normally do. If his face is the identity, let's look at what DigiYatra has done to all of us during our travel. If I can use the same technology for identifying my customer and giving him the right access, because my customers are also segmented in different ways. Some are internal, some are external. Then it makes the customer's life very easy, while I can only focus on building that trust aspect, which drives my business.
All right.
Now, this is important, and that is where the phygital aspect of the business in my industry, across geographies, across markets, I'm taking a bet for all geographies in the world, is going to remain phygital.
So, but I just want to ask you, everyone in the BFSI sector always talks about this, right? Can we just have one central KYC for everyone so that the customer doesn't have to go through it? Do you think that's a dream that will be realized soon?
I think we are very close to it.
Okay.
The entire public infrastructure that has been created over the last few years, first of all, these were individual pieces. For example, your UIDI based kind of validation, or your PAN based validation, or some of your payment gateways. Now we are slowly seeing the government taking steps of unifying all of this together. So for a consumer like me, I don't have to now start subscribing to these services separately.
Yes.
I may just have to go to one common window which the government is providing, and maybe I'll be able to evoke that one single service that will connect all these dots. And we are very close to it.
Okay.
Within a year, I will put my neck to it. Within a year, we should see the advent of this.
I hope you're right, and hopefully that's coming very soon.
Yes.
So as Ayan mentioned, unified services. So we are providing unified user experience. So be it a client, he is on the mobile app, on the browser, or visit any franchisee or the branch or RO or even HO, he get the unified user experience. So the trust factor is very much there. He should get each and everything same at all the points. So if he's using a mobile app, he should get the same information. If he's using on the website, he should get the same information. If he visit the branch, he should get the same details. So that way, like if there are systems in place where sometimes you see some different information in the different system. So we are providing unified user experience.
All right, sir.
To have a trust.
Okay. Unified user experience is the takeaway there. Now, Anurag, how do you enable BFSI organizations to deliver cutting-edge technologies to their customers?
So, as Ayan also mentioned, that what we are seeing and witnessing in the BFSI space is that the footfall in the branches are definitely reducing. People have gone more digital and are able to really get service through their apps and the mobiles that they are using. But at the same time, the need of physical branch will still exist. So that's not going anywhere. And that's where this phygital becomes more important. And traditionally, when you used to look at a branch, there used to be a lot of cost involved into setting it up, the time to set the whole a branch operational. So those things are becoming the sort of a hindrance in today's modern age branches, I have to say that. So we'll have to really reimagine how a branch will look like in future. And that's where Tata Communications have come up with some innovative solutions like branch in a box. Basically, what it means, it's like it's a secured private access at the edge. And what it offers is the functionalities of a much faster deployment, because it can be brought it up very quickly. Like, in fact, I was speaking to one of our banks, and they were saying that they want to really start up a branch in 48 hours. And this could have not been possible with a way of doing a traditional branch rollouts. And this device really enables some of these faster rollouts, because it can be connected on a 4G to start with, and then can move on to a ILL, which is an internet lease line, or a broadband. So one is that it also gives a faster deployment time. At the same time, there's a resiliency, because you have multiple modes of connectivity. And to top of it, it's also inbuilt with some sort of a security feature, because that's something very important for a BFSI industry today. So it has a L3 firewall functionalities, which allows you to do a basic URL filtering, and a DDoS attacks can be prevented with this device. So one is that you're setting up a branch which is much faster. At the same time, you're not compromising on the security aspect, on the reliability aspect of that branch. And the last thing, which is more important, is the cost aspect, because as the branches are not the preferred modes of sale as a point of sale for the most of the BFSI industry, it has to be cost effective. So this solution really brings down the cost almost to, I should say, about 2.5 to 3x from a traditional way of doing business.
Wow, it sounds like the future
But
is
what
now.
about
Quite excited about this now.
Yeah, it's quite excited. But what about the last mile? You are able to provide the bandwidth on 4G SIM?
Yes, we are able to provide bandwidth on 4G SIM. We are able to provide a ILL also, and this is ILL is also a broadband, which is more of a coming from Tata Communications as with a SLA driven broadband. So it's a completely service level agreement based service that we are delivering.
Brilliant.
Oh, that's brilliant.
You know, that really sounds like something that everybody would want to try, especially a customer, you know. And speaking about customer experience is really paramount now. With shifting demographics, you also have new age expectations that are coming out, when it comes to customer experience. So how do you keep up with that?
I have two problems here. As long as we are looking at my customers, when I'm talking about my B2C customers, direct my business to customer relationship, I have two ends to meet. The expectations of the baby bloomers on one side, on the other side, we have the Gen Zs. Now, the Gen Zs are the ones who will interact to you only with an app. On the other side, the other extreme, they'll be feeling much more comfortable going to the branch and actually interacting with the folks sitting in the branch. So that is one problem for me to solve. On the other side, I also have the competition to take care of. Now, there are fintechs, there are people who are born in the cloud, who are native to the new age application engagement. Now, these people are offering a solution which is completely born on the cloud. And I have to be there. It is not FOMO, but it is clearly a business segment I cannot afford to lose. And that is the reason that these challenges ensure that even at my scale, I still continue to think like a startup. I still run, and I actually run teams who think, who act, and who actually create applications like startups do. And we have kept them away from, because these guys will come in their jeans and their t-shirts, but they will think brilliantly, and they are attuned to the presence. So this is the kind of challenge that we continue to face, both from the actual target market as well as the competition that we continuously have to strive with. So this is practically where we are today, if you ask me.
All right, you need to think like a startup,
Yes.
indeed, to keep up.
I think Ayan have covered most of the thing, but yes, like we are into market for last 3 decades. We have 40% clientele who are the old school of thought. Still, they don't want to have a internet banking on their banking account. So it's difficult to manage those kind of customers. Still, they want to deal in the checks. They don't want to use NEFT or RTGS.
Sure.
But the rest of the things, I think Ayan have already covered.
All right. There are some who are so reluctant to embrace new technology, late adopters, reluctant adopters. I guess especially at BFSIs, you have to deal a lot with these reluctant customers. So, coming to you, Anurag, how do you ensure that BFSI organizations can deliver a fantastic customer experience for their clients?
Not right. So I think customer experience, as you started off saying, that it's obviously the most paramount point of discussion today with most of the BFSI industry. It's no more I should say, a tech discussion or a discussion between the marketing teams, but also become a boardroom discussion, because what the recent surveys are talking about is that today, if you have 2 negative interactions with any brand, you tend to move away from that brand. The customers are looking for a consistent experience, as Mr. Kamal mentioned, that they have to give a consistent experience across the channels, the way the customer is reaching to them. Yeah. How do you deliver that? So that has become very important. At the same time, if you are, say, interacting with a bot, and then your query is not getting resolved, and you want to move, say, to a live agent, is that possible today? So these are certain challenges which are becoming very evident. And we at Tata Communications are bringing a sort of a customer interaction suite of services, which basically stitches all these various modes of communication. Considering that you need to have all the channels, so people are interacting on a SMS, on a WhatsApp, on an email, even a phone call. So how do you bring a consistent experience to it? How do you capture all this? And there have been a lot of use cases that we are seeing in the industry. One is obviously from the acquisition of a customer, because if a customer comes on your website and starts looking at your products, now if he moves back or goes away from without ordering anything, how do you really capture that thing and reach out back to him? So all these things are what we are enabling through a single platform, and orchestrating this various channels on a single platform is what we are doing at Tata Communications.
So in fact, taking the point ahead from where he left, I am actually been reminded of 2 different scenarios in our industry itself. We were having a discussion a few days back where with our payments collections teams, and they brought a very interesting problems statement for us to solve. So they said that we were having this 3-click payment option for the customers. Now we want to convert this 3 clicks. So just imagine 3 clicks and your payment is done.
Oh. Wow.
Now the problem statement for them, which they brought to us for technology folks to solve, was how do I convert this to 2 clicks?
Oh, okay.
Just imagine. So already we are giving the option, payment option in 3 clicks. Now they want us to do it in 2 clicks. That is the type of expectation that typically the end users, internal users drive. There's another thing that we are looking at, that many of our customers who are consuming our digital products, they expect these products to be proactive in nature. They expect these products to be predictive in nature. They expect these products to lead them into getting that certain action to be done without them having to go around, exploring that application and just figuring out what to do. They need that application to be intuitive enough to actually lead them to go and quickly get that work done. They're not interested in spending time in that application, which means you have to start building your customer experience, the CX, completely from a different thought process. You start comparing with the applications that we run today and some of the newer applications. Just look at Amazon. It's for example, it's a very simple application, but look at the sheer amount of intuitiveness built in it. And don't think that the simplicity is actually not something which says that we have not done enough research. They have spent years and years of research on that, and that is where the simplicity actually comes in. And maybe there are so many other examples.
And challenge and opportunity, like what Ayan said, in broking, again, customer wants same thing, 3-click or 2-click. But the problem in broking, if let's say you are my customer and you have registered 2 particular bank accounts with me as an investment account, I cannot take money from any of the third account. For example, in Amazon or in any insurance, you can pay from any card. But in broking, if you want to transfer money, only the registered account, which I have already uploaded to the regulator, you can transfer money from those accounts only. So the moment you're coming on the payment gateway, I have to ensure I should not give you any other option than these 2 bank accounts with those 2 respective banks.
True.
So you have to navigate the entire regulatory landscape as well, along with managing customer expectations. That really is a tightrope to walk for sure. Now, cloud strategy is something that's being widely discussed in the BFSI industry. It's so important because it's a very tough regulatory landscape to navigate. You also have to make sure that you're handling multiple hyperscalers. You also have to make sure that it's agile, that there's data security there. So when you are formulating a cloud strategy, what do you keep in mind?
So for us, in fact, we have reached a stage of our cloud journey where we are actually plateauing out. This is our 5th year of cloud journey, and in fact, it started just before COVID happened. And we were able to move almost every part of the workload to cloud that was possible, technically possible. In fact, what has remained back is what could not be moved because of the technical reasons. But having done this and reached this point of the journey, there are multiple things that we are starting to look at now. One is the financial operations, FinOps as we call it in the landscape. We are now seriously looking at that piece as well, because does it really make sense to put everything on cloud? Because cloud is expensive. Cloud is giving you a lot of benefits, but at the same time, it is fairly expensive. So we have now started a structure in which any new application that has to be put on cloud first has to be justified through the lens of FinOps. Do I really need the benefits, typically the scale benefits of cloud, the elasticity of cloud? If the answers are not coming forth from these new applications, we are good to have them on-premise. And the way we look forward is that hybrid is going to be the future. We will continue to live on cloud and on-premise. We will continue to use multi-cloud arrangements. We will continue to use hyperscalers for areas where they excel in. But it is going to be a hybrid environment for sure for the next 5 years.
Okay, that's a very nuanced lens indeed, taking together all those factors.
I'm a big fan of on-prem. So cloud is a big no. But yes, there are certain workload which you can move to cloud, like messaging. So I think way back in 2010, from India, we signed up a largest cloud deal on GCP. No one have done in the world. So I was part of India Infline. That time we signed a GCP for 16,000 users, and I was supposed to have about 35 member team to manage Exchange. So we migrate from on-prem to cloud on the fly, and from 35 to 3 engineers, uptime was something like on an average 300 calls a day to 3 calls a week. So that way there are certain workload which yes you can move to cloud, but from the business perspective, business workload, trading workload, no.
Okay, so you're no stranger to cloud.
Yeah.
So now you have your evolved perspective as well through it. Okay. Anurag, what are the trends that you are seeing personally, especially when it comes to insurance and brokerage houses?
So I think as the two people mentioned, and it's exactly the same thing that we are also observing in the market, that the cloud is not meant for everyone. Or I should say cloud is not meant for all the workloads that our business is running today. So there are benefits, as Mr. Karl mentioned, that there are certain workloads which are to be the best suited at the cloud, but there are certain workloads which are not really meant to be on a hyperscaler for that perspective. So that is one clear thing which we are observing in the market. In fact, earlier days, as people started their cloud journey 3 to 4 years back, they moved everything in terms of lock, stall, barrel, I should say, on the cloud. And now is where they are realizing that it's not really making sense considering the cost of putting it on the cloud. And we are seeing a lot of cloud repatriation happening. In fact, there's customers are some of our banking financial institutions are talking of a decloud strategy. So people are trying to move away from the cloud wherever it doesn't make sense from a business perspective. And that's where we at Tata Communications feel that what we are offering is a more of a purpose-built cloud for financial institutions specifically. So what we are doing here is that we have created a financial services cloud, which is more from a governance perspective. It's regulated, having all the controls what the regulators are saying, be it SEBI or IRDA or RBI. At the same time, it's also giving the the compliance which is required from a data sovereignty, data protection, and the audit compliance norms. Also, it's a managed service from our side. It's not just giving an infrastructure and then you consume. It's also a managed services which allows you to really optimize the best from the cloud perspective. So these are certain of the things that we are offering in the cloud journey. Also, the other problem that we have been witnessing is most of the customers now have multiple clouds as they have grown. And how do you communicate between the clouds and also to the multiple clouds, and how do you really make it cost effective and also optimize those workloads within the clouds is where we are offering something called as a multi-cloud strategy or multi-cloud solution, and which enables them to really orchestrate the workloads between the multiple clouds and make it more cost effective.
Okay, so some very useful takeaways there. I'm so glad you could all join me for this discussion today. Thank you for your time. And thank you for watching. And for more such conversations, remember to stay tuned to Digital Pioneers.